you hear a buzz or is it
Can
just
you
me?
imagine your life where money is your friend, working with you to achieve all your dreams and desires? If you struggle seeing money as your friend, then join Kathy Cook Noble, financial advisor and educator on understanding how your money can work for you. It is possible. Now, here is Financially Speaking with Kathy Cook Noble.
Good afternoon and welcome to Financially Speaking. I am Kathy Cook Noble and I will be your host for the next little while that we spend together. And I am excited because tonight we have a special guest and we are going to be talking to her about weight loss and how that affects our finances. And for those of you that have been with us before, you'll know that we're on a journey to understanding our finances. And we're on a journey to controlling our finances ourselves. We've talked about different things like when to start and what we should start doing and what we can do to save on costs and different cost-cutting measures and different tips and tricks that we've had. We've talked a little bit about estate planning, which for those of you that were with us last week will know that that's actually my favorite topic. So everyone has one and everyone needs to know about it, and it was really fun. And all the information was on our website on my website that I shared with you last week. So anybody that needs to review it, go ahead and check it out on kathycooknoble.gpwealth.ca. You'll have all the great information that we were able to share, and it's all laid out for you nice and easy. So I'm super, super excited about our guest that we have tonight. Her name is Marietta Snetsinger. And I have had the very special opportunity to get to know her and become friends with her over this last year. And she is one of these super cool people. And we're really lucky to have her. She's joining us tonight, and she's discussing the effects of weight loss and weight gain and their relationship to money. Because as we all know, everything seems to come back to talking about the financial situation in one way or another. So Marietta, she believes that physical transformation through weight loss is possible for anyone at any age. She is passionate about teaching others how to redefine their connection with their body and how to finally find peace with food relationship. Through her own lengthy and very personal struggle with weight, Marietta founded rightsizebody.com and has created the revolutionary and life-changing Right Size Body method to release weight and keep it off for good. So you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity to talk with Marietta and join us and ask questions. She is available to ask questions too. You're welcome to join us in the chat room if you have a question and want to post your question there. And you are certainly welcome to be anonymous if you'd like. Otherwise, just call in and talk to us at any point in time. So welcome, Marietta. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It's really exciting to be here today.
So you are, if you want, I told a little bit about you in the intro, but if you want to just share a little bit with everyone about who you are and how you came to be the expert in the weight loss transformation with Right Size Body, that would be great.
Well, trust me, I feel like I've got the battle scars, and I've been down that road. I've probably tried everything and honestly struggled with my weight for a very, very long time. And it probably even started back in university. So, that was a few years ago for me. And I just never was really able to get back in my right size. It took me a very long time. And as many of your listeners may know, often a lot of heartache and a lot of pain along the way.
Absolutely. And is it safe to say you've tried everything, you've been there, done that, and have all the experience to go with it?
Yeah, for sure. And I have a great amount of empathy for anyone who has been down that path, because it's not fun. You get your hopes up. You're really, this is the time. This is it. We set all. For me, it was when I was getting married. I thought, okay, I'm going to do it this time. This is the motivation I needed to find my right size. I want to wear that wedding dress, and I don't want to walk down the aisle not feeling comfortable. And that didn't happen. It was still a long time away from getting. And then I thought, okay, well, I want to have a baby, so I know I need to get rid of that weight so that when I'm pregnant, I'll be healthier and, it'll be better for my baby. And, so all of those things, you'd think that would be enough to get me to that place. And none of that really was enough.
Do you find too that the people that you're working with are doing that same sort of game that they play with themselves, that I'll do it for this reason or I'll do it for this person? Are they all sort of in that same neighborhood of doing it for somebody else?
Yeah, and that obviously doesn't work. It has to be for you for sure. It really is. I look at it as, and by no accident, right size body, and we are nourishing your soul and releasing weight at the same time. And there's absolutely an emotional connection. And we talk about food addiction, but really it's emotional eating at its heart and at its core.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you know, the name of our show is Financially Speaking, and there's also a great connection with finances and your weight, isn't there? Not just the cost of it, not just the cost of all of it, but there's also other connections, right?
Absolutely. There's definitely something to be said for, releasing what isn't serving you, whether it be debt, which isn't serving you, or weight. And, I believe there is definitely a connection between the two. In both cases, they're holding us back. They're making us feel stuck. They're making us feel small and maybe not as confident as we would be feeling if we were, managing our finances better and managing our weight. There's definitely, when you can take care of one, often the other one takes care of itself, if that makes any sense at all.
Absolutely. And so the two of them really do work together, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because what would happen?
Go ahead.
Sorry, what I was going to say, what would happen for me is, and I would throw shopping into the whole mix because that's an easy way to acquire debt. And what would happen is I'd be feeling terrible about my physical size. So, I'd head to the store and start buying new clothes to fit my newer size, or other trinkets and trash. That's the only way I can describe it, because I wasn't feeling good. I wanted something to help fix it, make it go away, and make me feel better. And oftentimes, it was definitely connected to buying something to get that feeling, to get that high, if you will. If I didn't turn to food, I might turn to shopping. So there's definitely been a lot of correlation between the two. I've seen that somewhat with my clients, but I know it was definitely my own personal experience.
And what happened when you released the weight to your finances and the shopping sprees? How did that change?
Well, you know what? It's really funny because you and I were talking about this last week, and I really, it's bizarre, but I was a big shop, and I had, my favorite stores I would go to, and I would just kind of go and wander around, and I just don't even feel the need to do that anymore. In fact, I've kind of gone the other way, and I'm a huge, and you know this about me, I'm a huge Goodwill shopper. Yep. I had to replace my entire wardrobe in the past 2.5 years, and you can imagine there's a significant cost to that. So I've kind of probably gone the other way, and I'm having a great time finding new clothing, and I love clothes and feeling good, and it's when you're 75 pounds less, the clothing fits a lot better. But I've kind of gone the other way, and I shop a lot in secondhand clothing stores now. So that's been really good for my finances, and I just feel a lot better about it all. So
we actually can say you can save money and do better in investing if you are at your right weight, your right size. So we can actually put that as in one of our tips and tricks that we were talking about 2 weeks ago on how to save money or cut money out of your cash tracking. And one of those ways is get to be your right size body, and you'll actually save money.
Well, you're not feeling like you have to constantly be buying something new to feel better, or because you've outgrown your last outfit. That would be the other challenge. Oh, I've got a conference coming up. I know I want to have a new outfit to wear, and because everything in my closet, I'd outgrown it, if you will.
Yeah.
I would feel like I needed to go get something to feel better, to feel more confident, more comfortable. But really, the easier solution was really just to release the weight, show up in my right size, and the confidence will come. And I don't need to spend the money on the new outfit just to go to a conference. You know, if you're in your right size body, you're feeling more confident. You're not turning to other things or more surface, if you will, like clothing, exterior things to make you feel better.
Absolutely. And other spin-off effects. How were you with your energy and your stamina for longer days for work? Because I know you work a lot. You have several businesses. For the listeners who don't know, Marietta is quite a business titan, and she's got a lot of things going on. So I'm just wondering, when you released all that weight, how did that help you, or did that help you a lot with your energy?
Well, yeah, you're right. I have two businesses. In fact, so I actually have a franchise consultancy. So I help folks with successful businesses convert it to a franchise. So that's my first baby. But through this whole experience and this whole transformation, I actually started a new business, which is the Right Size Body, what we are actually talking about today. And, that changed everything. That's really what I'm passionate about doing. I mean, I love my franchisor clients. That still lights me up to no end. But I really feel called, and, as I've shared with you, it's my soul's mission to help other women, other people release the weight so they can show up in the life that they are meant to live. And I'm living that my own truth myself, and founded a whole company based on that and a whole business based on that. And that's not by accident. That's actually part of my own personal recovery as well. And by giving back and helping others on this journey, it helps keep me in program and on plan, and true to myself, and to keeping me in my right size. And I take a lot of pleasure in helping others get there. So it's kind of that give back piece as well. Does that make sense? I'm not sure I answered your question.
No, it makes sense completely. Yep. Yep. And knowing you, I know how passionate you are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely been a lot of fun and a lot of learning. I mean, launching a new business takes a lot of energy. You're absolutely right. One of the things I kind of have gotten into, which I always thought I wanted to do before, when you take on a big goal like that, and you kind of do something that you thought was impossible, it allows you to see so many other things as more possible. So releasing weight showed me, okay, gosh, if you can do that, what else can you do that you didn't think you could do? And
wow.
And one of the things that I'd always thought I wanted to do was get up early in the morning, and I also always wanted to write a book. So, and I know that you've gone down that path too, and I've been busily writing a book since early January, and I'm actually doing it on, I guess some people would say I'm doing it on steroids and very quickly, but I'll be sending it off to the printer in the next week or so. So. Yeah, but that is a result of the energy. I get up a lot earlier in the morning. Often it's between 5 and 6 in the morning. I like to be up and start my day early and get some time in before my son is up, and I have to get him off to school. So that gives me about an hour or so, an hour and a half in the morning. That's a wonderful way to start your day. I know it sounds crazy, and if you've never tried it, you probably think I'm nuts, but I encourage you to try it.
Yeah, that's great.
There's a great book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and if you want to add productivity and really make a difference in your life and how you show up, that's a great way to get started.
Oh,
and 5 a.m. They're not as bad as you think.
No, I know you're up that early because I got an email from you this morning, and it was about 5:40 a.m. And I was like, yeah, Marietta's probably been up for a while.
A little bit, not always, not every day. I'm not gonna play the martyr and say, oh, I'm up at 5 every day. But it just depends. So it depends on the day. But I do find that quiet in the morning is really helpful. It's also part of my recovery has been to embrace a very spiritual side, and like I said, you nourish the soul and release the weight. And part of nourishing the soul for me is having that time, that quiet in the morning, and that's when I do my best thinking. I'm journaling. I might do a meditation. it's kind of taking care of my soul at a time of the day when it's quiet and, there's just no interruptions and, that early morning, I don't know, I guess the potential of the day ahead is always gets me, I guess.
And it's so important to get yourself aligned for the day. So I think it's fantastic. We are going to take our first break for the show. And when we return, we're going to continue talking to Marietta Snetsinger. And we are going to talk to her about the right size body method and how that's different from other programs. And I say diet programs loosely because it's not really that kind of program. You're going to find out what a great lifestyle program it is with Marietta. So stay tuned for that. You are listening to Financially Speaking with Kathy Cook-Noble on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we're going to come back and talk to Marietta Snetsinger. We'll be right back.
Too many of us get caught up in the unreal lives of reality television and complete to acquire stuff, which is setting us up to accumulate lots of debt. We're scared, confused, and don't know who to talk to. By tuning into Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook-Noble, you'll learn tips you can use to improve your financial health, which in turn can improve your overall health and make for a very happy life. Live a life you can afford and enjoy. It is possible. Listen for Financially Speaking radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Welcome back, everyone.
This is Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook-Noble. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Kathy at bookkeepplus.ca. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Kathy Cook-Noble on the Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is money and weight. They are related. And before the break, we were just talking to Marietta Snetsinger about her program, The Right Size Body. And we've got her here for the whole show. So please do call in or join us in the chat room with your questions. She's not afraid to take any of your questions. There's no question I think that she's ever had that's been either embarrassing or too easy or too hard for her. She can handle it. So call in and ask her anything. And before the break, we were just starting to talk about the method, Marietta, that you've developed that has been a great success for yourself and for your clients. And if you can share with us a little bit about how the Right Size Body method is different from other programs and diet programs.
Mm-hmm. So what I would say is when I was on my journey, one of the things that I found was there was nothing that really combined the two effectively for me. There were lots that would talk about the food and be very much focused on that. But maybe the best thing would be to share with you a little bit about the Right Size Guidelines, because that's really the premise of the program. Does that make sense? Good place to start?
That would be great. That would be great.
Okay, so we have 4 Right Size Guidelines. And the Right Size Guidelines, the first one, and again, you need to understand that I come from an addictions based, personally identify as a food addict. So all of what I share and what I teach my clients is around managing that addiction. So, if you're a health coach or, you're looking at it from that perspective, although the food plan and how we actually are is very healthy, it may not always make sense or be in alignment with some of the advice you might receive from a health coach. So I'm just going to put that out there right away and just say, and it'll become apparent when I share with you the first guideline. So the first Right Size Guideline is to release sugar and to release flour. So when I say release sugar, some folks will say, well, what about natural sugar like stevia or, does that matter? Well, the simple fact of the matter is sugar is sugar in the brain, and anything that tastes sweet, whether it's artificial, natural, what have you, if it tastes sweet, the brain reacts in the same way, and sugar craves sugar. So So it doesn't matter if it's stevia, agave, honey, maple syrup, or good old-fashioned white sugar, the brain reacts the same way. So we want to reduce and eliminate any kind of cravings to sugar. So the best way to do that is actually just to release it completely from our food plan. And that would also include foods that have sugar beyond the prior to the third ingredient. So if it's beyond the third ingredient, that's fine. It's probably should be not in a concentration that would be fine. But we're really trying to be very cognizant of the sweetness of the foods that we're consuming. Now, I'm often asked about fruit. Fruit is absolutely fine, but we don't have fruit in the form of a pureed fruit like you might find in a smoothie. The fruit, when we're having fruit or when we're consuming fruit, it's with a full meal, so you're not going to get the full sugar hit. We're also having it as a whole fruit. So when you have the fruit, the fructose, because fructose is the sugar that's found in fruit, it's not going to have a full-on hit to your bloodstream because it's going to be reduced in its concentration by the fiber of the fruit, if that makes sense. So release sugar and release flour. And again, flour is the same way. Anything that is really refined or processed and becomes very concentrated, and as a result, it also hits our bloodstream more quickly. And often we find that the foods that contain the sugar and the flour are the ones that are probably contributing to excess weight and carrying excess weight. And oftentimes when we have some, we want more. And if you think about any kind of baked goods or things that you might crave, like bread or other carbohydrates like that, or baked goods, chances are they probably aren't going to be that good for you anyway. So that's where the health kind of piece comes in. But it really comes down to your body is going to want more and more. So we want to break that cycle. So the best way to break that cycle is to reduce and then eliminate the sugar and the flour. So, and I kind of often say to my clients, 100% is easier than 80%. We make it very black and white. Release sugar, release flour. There's no such thing as, the moderation, right? It's kind of, and I guess kind of, again, playing on relating back to the addiction piece, if someone's an alcoholic and they've determined and identified themselves as an alcoholic and they've eliminated or released alcohol from their lives, they're not going to have champagne on New Year's Eve and just think that's okay and then just go back to not having that addictive substance the next day. It often does not work that way, and, it's just when you have an addiction, you have to be very respectful of that. And, I kind of guard it with my life, if you will, that, I'm going to make sure I don't have anything with those ingredients in it because I don't want to trigger cravings or risk. And I don't think I would, but I don't know. I'm not really willing to play with that either. When you have something that's working and doing well for you, why would you want to chance that or to risk it? So release sugar and release flour. And that's the biggest of the guidelines. That's the one I get the most feedback or the most pushback on. So I always put it first in my list because of that. Now the next three are a little bit easier to take. And the second one is weigh and measure your meals. So when our clients work with us, we actually provide them with a food plan that is weighed and measured meals. And they know exactly what they need to have of each of the, whether it's a protein, a fat, or a vegetable, they know exactly what they need to have. And in order to, train our brain to know that, we are actually going to weigh and measure them. So there's no kind of like, oh, well, maybe I didn't have enough of that. We know exactly what we had, and we know that it was enough for our body. So there's no kind of playing that game of, well, I didn't have very much the last time, because we know exactly what we had. Now, in lieu of not being in the program, I always like to kind of give you another option, and I kind of call it the one plate rule. So if you're looking at your plate and you want to, so about a quarter of your plate is going to be your protein, and the rest of your plate is really going to be your vegetables. So we're eating a lot of vegetables, and maybe a little bit of fat to go with that, maybe a tablespoon or so of fat to go with the, whether it's a salad dressing or if you want to have butter on your meal. So again, if you're a health coach, you might say, oh, no dairy, no dairy. We don't say that at all. It's, whatever you want to have in that respect, that's fine as far as dairy or, because that's the one that's most often mentioned. So weigh and measure, and in lieu of that, do the 1 plate rule. And then the third right size guideline is 3 meals a day. So 3 meals a day means, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and no snacks. And again, that's also around, comes back to making decisions around food. So we're not constantly obsessing about what our next meal is or what our snack is and getting overwhelmed and all, obsessed around that. If you're only making the decision and having to deal with food 3 times a day, it really makes life a lot easier. You kind of get out of that obsessive place of, when I was before I found this way, it was a constant thought. I call it the junk food brain, where I was constantly obsessing about where I was going to kind of get my next fix, if you will. And, where's the next drive-thru, or where's the, what am I going to have tonight for dinner? And it was a constant obsession. By eliminating it and just kind of going down to 3 meals a day, like once those meals are over, that's it. And I don't have to worry about food after that. It's kind of done.
So it makes it a lot easier.
The final one, you know what? It really does. Like it just kind of, again, talk about extra energy. Physically you have more energy because you're eating food that's really nourishing your body. But mentally you also are releasing a lot of chatter around making decisions around food and the next meal and whatever. When you're not obsessing about that, it kind of frees up a lot of brain space, if you will, to think about other things that you might like to do with your life, like start another business or, whatever it is. So.
Which of course will increase your finances, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. It allows you to have more time to dream up how you're going to invest all your money.
That's right. Yes. And the fourth one.
The fourth one is really around connecting the soul and the food, and it's about committing your food plan for the day. So each morning we commit our food. We decide early in the day, so we have a plan. We know what we're going to have. And it's a bit of brain retraining, and it's also, it kind of ties into it. We know what our 3 meals are going to be. We know that they're going to be free of sugar and flour, and we know exactly what they're going to be. So I commit my food for today, and I know it will be enough to nourish my mind, my body, and my soul. And, even just kind of letting that sink in and know, my brain is not going to trick me and tell me, nope, you didn't have enough. You need to have some more of this. You need to have some more of that. Oh, no, you didn't have enough. And kind of getting in that deprivation mindset, because I know I've planned my food. I've said, okay, this is what I'm going to have for the day. And when I say commit your food too, it's also around letting your brain know that once you've made a decision around having an apple with lunch, you have an apple with lunch. You don't change it out to a banana. Even though nutritionally speaking, there may not be a whole lot of difference, a fruit's a fruit or an apple and an orange, and you can interchange them. Well, you don't have to say exactly what fruit you're having, but when we're following this program and we're being true to ourselves and we're doing what we say we're going to do and letting our brain know, you can't mess with me because I've made a commitment. This is what I'm having, and that's what I'm going to have. It's creating new neural pathways that are, kind of firming up that decision. So committing your food and staying, there's always tomorrow, right? Like we kind of go, oh, no, I want that today. Well, you know what? There's always tomorrow. If I want to have an orange at lunch, I'll have an orange at lunch tomorrow and not worry about that for today if I've committed an apple.
Fantastic. So it really is it's a commitment to yourself, and it's really a lifestyle change as far as getting yourself healthy and frankly getting yourself wealthy, both with your physical self and with your finances. I think once you have a clearer mind and you're focused, then you're able to tackle other topics like finances that sometimes scare people, even though we've been talking about the last few weeks about how easy and fun and simple that can be, which is great, which goes along with your program because it sounds the same. It's easy and simple and focused, and anybody can do it by the sounds of it. But that actually is going to be our next question after the break, is who really does it work best for, Marietta? Like, is there a personality type? Is there a specific kind of person? So for those of you that have just joined us, we're talking to Marietta Snetsinger, and we are talking about the right size body. And she is the founder of it and the expert, and just a great resource that's happy to answer any questions or or your comments if you want to call in or join us in the chat room. And she's going to share with us the best personality type that works for her. She shared with us the four. You didn't call it the 4 steps. What did you call that, Marietta? The 4 phases?
The right size guidelines. Yeah, the 4 right size guidelines. So these, this is our kind of what we live by, how we manage our relationship or begin to manage our relationship with food, so we can find the peace that many of us have. It's kind of eluded so many of us for so long.
Absolutely. And I love that, because you're talking about a relationship with food and how they can work together. So it's really exciting on how to make things work together instead of always feeling guilty or bad or having a love-hate relationship with food. It works with you. So I think that's fantastic. We're going to take a second break of the show. And when we return, we are going to still have Marietta here, and we're going to talk to her more about the right size body and how that works for all of us individually and who it works best for. And then we'll talk more about how we can even talk to Marietta after the show. So when we return, we're going to talk to Marietta more. You are listening to Financially Speaking with myself, Kathy Cook-Noble, on the Inspired Choices Network. When we return, we're going to continue to discuss how money and weight are related and how Marietta Snetsinger can help us with our relationship with food. We'll be right back.
Too many of us get caught up in the unreal lives of reality television and complete to acquire stuff, which is setting us up to accumulate lots of debt. We're scared, confused, and don't know who to talk to. By tuning into Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook-Noble, you'll learn tips you can use to improve your financial health, which in turn can improve your overall health and make for a very happy life. Live a life you can afford and enjoy. It is possible. Listen for Financially Speaking radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook-Noble. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Kathy at bookkeepplus.ca. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Kathy Cook-Noble on the Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is money and weight. They are related. And we are excited and privileged to have with us our special guest, Marietta Snetsinger. And before we went to the break, we were just talking about the right size body, which is Marietta's program and her company. And the guidelines that she gave us, the right size guidelines, were the first one was release sugar, release flour. The second one is weigh and measure meals. The third one is 3 meals a day. And the fourth one is plan and commit food each day. And this just sounds like a great formula for success. And I do love having things simple and easy to follow. And Marietta certainly makes it easy for all of us to follow and to be part of. And I just wanted to ask Marietta, who is the best personality that works with this program, or the best type of person that this would work for, if there is one?
That's a really great question. I would say it works for anyone and everyone. I certainly I work with clients either on a one-to-one basis or I have a great group coaching program. But typically my clients are folks who've struggled with their weight for a long time. Typically they have at least 30 pounds or more to release. And remind me to come back to why I say release versus lose, because that's interesting too. That's a little bit different about our program. But, again, I'm not an addictions counselor, but oftentimes my clients might identify as an emotional eater or a food addict. And often they would describe their relationship with food as, obsessive and really unhealthy and lacking peace, to say the least. Oftentimes they may come to me and they may not even be aware of food addiction, but once, we start talking, they kind of can recognize those patterns. and behaviors of the disease. So, I think everyone, that I work with, basically what they will all tell you is that they believe that their weight has held them back from kind of showing up in their right-sized life and doing the things that they want to do. I mean, we really have such very, in the big grand scheme of things, we're only on this this life plane for a very short period of time, and many of us we want to leave a legacy, we want to leave a contribution, and if we're not able to show up in that right size life because of our weight, if that's what's holding us back, then I believe we are doing our this earth a huge disservice. So if you're someone who wants to get this under control and really find some peace with it, and control is probably not the best word, but really find peace with it and find a way to manage this relationship better, then you might be a fit.
I like that. And I like how it's a holistic approach. And, it's funny, you mentioned the word release, and that was one of the notes I made to myself. I wanted to ask you, you call it release, and I was going to ask you where that comes from and what's really behind that particular term.
Well, you know what? I don't even know where it came from. It was just kind of came to me one day as I was thinking about my journey. And, I really, what I said? I said, what a release. What a release. Holy cow. And then it kind of was like, oh, my gosh, release. Like really releasing this weight has unburdened me. And it has allowed me to, and, I'm done with it. I'm done with the weight. It has shown me I've got the lesson, life, universe. I got the lesson, got the T-shirt, ready to be done with this. And, when you release something, that's acknowledgement that you're done. You got the lesson, you're done. You want to let it go. And, when you talk about losing weight, when we think about something being lost, often we think it's a negative thing. And, we talk about someone passing on, a loss is actually, it becomes, you want to find it, or it's a sad thing. And I think that neither of those are true about this journey. It's a very, it's a relief and a release, and it's not a loss. I don't want to find it. So I don't want to find that extra weight once I've released it.
Exactly. And you know what? That's actually another similarity and another effect, really, that the money and the weight play together, because I've always said, and I truly believe that words have power, and how you say it, just simple terms, like when you say the word budget, people kind of have the hair on the back of their neck go up. But when we talk about just tracking your cash, that's a nice, easy thing you can do. And when you talk about, like, exactly what you said, losing the weight, that's a loss, it's a negative. But the releasing it is just setting yourself free, really, and giving you that extra energy and permission to enjoy yourself and not be so hard on yourself, really, because I find women especially, and you probably do too, especially when they have a lot of physical discomfort or disappointment, then they're so much harder on themselves. And I find that even for finance, right? Yeah. So it helps. You're absolutely right with the mindset. Yeah.
It's exactly. Shame, and in both cases, we're carrying shame, and it's the weight of the shame that may be holding us back, whether it's weight, as in physical weight, or the weight of debt. When we release either, there's a lightness to it, and I'm absolutely with you. Words have power and meaning, and when we can lighten the load, release the weight or release the financial debt, we are lighter. I kind of even joke with this, like, I could sing and dance and run down the streets now, and physically I can do that more easily. But in my soul, I can do, it's not just, it's an emotional and a physical feeling. And I don't know how to kind of explain that. It's funny, I had an interesting conversation on my other business with someone who has a virtual reality business. And, I kind of joked with him, and I said, I told him a little bit about right-sized body, and I said, I always wished, when I was overweight and heavy, I always wished that I could put on some sort of a goggle or even like a mask or some way that I could physically feel what it meant, what it felt like to show up in my right size. What did that feel like to put on the pair of pants that wasn't, the plus the 2X or whatever it was. I just wanted to feel, and not even about the clothes, just a physical feeling of being in my right size. What did that look like? I'd so long forgotten it. And if there was a way in a virtual reality experience that you would feel that, and, he kind of laughed. He goes, well, no, but maybe we could, you could look at your body as it transitions and, and stand back and look at yourself that way. And that very well could be helpful. But I don't know. I mean, the science is not there yet, but, just to kind of feel what it would be like to walk around this earth in a lighter body, just even for a day or an hour or two, just to feel what it'd be like. You'd wonder if that would be motivation enough.
Exactly. I feel like knowing you, there's another wing of your business coming into play, I think. You'll be able to, I wouldn't be surprised if you provide that experience.
Well, I haven't quite figured it out yet, but it's interesting to
you
think
will.
about it. I wish I could, because I believe that I believe it might be just what someone needed to, because I can't explain. It's hard to explain to someone what it feels like, and and I can say, there's nothing like it for me. There's been nothing like it, and it's enough motivation for me not to want to go back to that other way of being. And it's a lightness of my soul. It's a lightness physically. It's just life is, so much joy and ease. And even today, and it's been a few years now, I still discover new things that I kind of like, oh, well, that was a lot easier now. Like, even just, going again, just going to a regular store and finding clothing that actually fits me and looks good. And, no, the medium's too big. I have to actually go to a small. Like, gosh, I don't think I've ever had that happen before, until now. And that, that's psychological. You can say, oh, clothing sizes are all different. Absolutely, yes, they are. But that feeling of having the option of doing that, knowing that was possible for me, was like, I just can't even explain that to somebody who's not there yet or has never experienced that.
So having said that, how will we know as an individual, how do we know if we're ready to give you a call and join the program? How will we know that it's time? It's time.
Yeah. And you know what? That's another really great question, because, it's kind of, when you're not ready and you're not going to take the action. But I believe that if you have found me, if you've seen it, if any piece of this is kind of speaking to you at all, and this conversation is speaking to you at all, I'm kind of a big, bold action, bold and perfect action. So we have a conversation and it's not right for you, or the timing's not right, and maybe it isn't. But I think that it's worth the risk, or the marginal risk, minimal risk, if you will, to have a conversation. It could very well be a conversation that changes your life. And I guess you really don't necessarily know until you try. And I'm always open to having a conversation, and I think I'm pretty good at helping people know if this is something, if they're ready right now or not. I have some questions that I often ask clients, and I'm happy to share those. I think the best one. Excellent. I think the best one is, what if 1 year from now we're having the same conversation and you're still struggling with your weight? How are you going to feel? Yeah,
that's a great question. Now, having said that, Marietta, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh, absolutely.
How would they?
You can go. You can go to my website and you can book a call on my website. You can reach me at peace@rightsizebody.com. That's my email. You're also welcome to call me, good old-fashioned telephone, 519-212-0309. I'm based in Canada, Ontario, Canada. But my clients are everywhere, honestly. I travel to the U.S. regularly, and I have clients there and across Canada. So it doesn't really matter where you are. The programs are all online, and we meet through Facebook or on Zoom, and the content is, of course, delivered to your mailbox.
So, and there are definitely no borders to the program that Marietta is offering. So she's definitely, she can be everywhere. So we are coming up to our third break of the show, and we're going to go to our third break. And when we return, we're going to talk more with Marietta Snetsinger and the Right Size Body. So if you have questions or you want to join us in the chat room, it's your chance to ask her anything that you'd like. about the program and just about your own personal experience if you want. And so when we return, we'll be discussing again with Marietta Snetsinger, and you are listening to Financially Speaking with Kathy Cook Noble on the Inspired Choices Network. When we return, we're continuing to discuss how money and weight, they are related, and we'll be right back with Marietta. Stay tuned.
Too many of us get caught up in the unreal lives of reality television and complete to acquire stuff, which is setting us up to accumulate lots of debt. We're scared, confused, and don't know who to talk to. By tuning into Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble, you'll learn tips you can use to improve your financial health, which in turn can improve your overall health and make for a very happy life. Live a life you can afford and enjoy. It is possible. Listen for Financially Speaking radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Kathy at bookkeepplus.ca. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Kathy Cook Noble on the Inspired Choices Network, and today our show topic is money and weight. They are related. And we have been chatting with Marietta Snetsinger of Right Size Body, and she has been here with us for the whole time and able to answer questions and talk to us about her program and how it worked. And that's what we were talking about before the break. And what I wanted to ask when we got back from the break is, I know she's got some secrets, and we all like the secrets. So we like the secrets to making money. We like the secrets to, I always like the secret of compound interest, which shouldn't be a secret, but it is. Anyway, that's a whole other show. But I wanted to talk to Marietta about some of the secrets that she has. I know there's 5 secrets that she has with her program, and maybe I can twist your arm and get you to share that with us, Marietta.
Yeah, absolutely. I love sharing these secrets because they really can be what I call game changers, and anyone can do this. Anyone who's listening today can kind of think about these and apply them to their lives, and honestly are what keeps me committed to my program and on track. So the first secret is one bite at a time, one moment at a time. And what I mean by that is staying present in this moment and not worrying and planning for the next year of my life and using that as, and staying out of overwhelm. That's basically staying present means staying out of overwhelm. Because if you start kind of going, okay, well, I got a wedding here and I got this there, I've been traveling here, and you start, well, I'm not going to be able to follow the plan then, you kind of start making excuses for following the plan or following a plan before you even start. You get into overwhelm and you kind of go, I can't do this forever, so why bother starting? So the secret is one bite at a time, one moment at a time, one meal at a time. So, as much as we're committing our food, we're going to be present during that meal for one bite at a time, one meal at a time. So we're not worrying about what we're eating next week. We're worrying about what we're eating at this meal, one meal at a time. The second secret is watching the right scale. So focusing on the right scale. And this kind of ties back to that right size guideline around weighing and measuring, and really focusing on the food scale where we're weighing and measuring our food, or focusing on the right scale as far as making sure that we're not overfilling our plate or having 2 and 3 dishes, making sure that we're watching the right scale and not the body scale. So folks get really caught up in watching the the scale's not dropping, and the scale's a really great way to see if we've made progress. But when you focus on the food scale, the body scale takes care of itself. So that's secret number 2. Focus on the right scale. Excellent. Secret number 3 is again.
Yep.
Yes. Secret number 3 is eyes on your own plate. And again, this is around boundaries. Yeah, this is around boundaries, right? So, creating boundaries visually as well as verbally, and worrying about what you're eating and not what someone else is eating. So keeping your eyes focused on your plate and what you're having. Now, in the same vein, that also means that what other people are telling you about what's on your plate is not their business, right? So what's on your plate is your business, and what's on their plate is their business. So, kind of, again, creating boundaries around eyes on your own plate, what's on my plate is my business, and what's on your plate is your business. So, sometimes we get derailed by what someone else is commenting or saying or thinks, the advice that they're giving us around this. I mean, because, people seem to feel like they can tell you what you should or shouldn't be eating or what's better. And, again, just go to any family dinner. And I know I've experienced it even in my own family, even though I've been, hugely successful and coached my sister-in-law to 82-pound weight release, we still find we get questioned. Wow. And it's kind of like, gosh, it's working for us. So I know you may not understand it as much, but they're not in our bodies, and it's not our business. It's not our job to make them understand it. Our job and our business is what's on our plate and not their plate. I know it's a little bit of a rant, but
absolutely,
it's really important, and it's really nobody else's business. So boundaries around that.
Yep. So we've got 2 more secrets that you are going to share, I hope, and we've got just a couple minutes left. So.
Okay.
We're going to get those out of you.
Yeah. So the fourth one is food prep is critical. So making a plan. Now, I often get some folks might say, well, planning all that food, cutting all those vegetables, that's a lot of work. And, absolutely. But food prep is critical. There's no way around it. But here's the deal. When you, carrying extra weight around is hard. Following a food plan is hard. I kind of say pick your hard. So making a plan actually, I find, leaves me with more time for other things I like to do because my food is prepared and prepped. It sounds more, that's a mindset too, right? Like if you say, yeah, food prep is hard, then food prep's going to be hard. But if you say, you know what, it's taking care of myself, it's part of my self-care, it's prepping my vegetables and having food ready to go. If that's how if you need that, if that works for you, then it can absolutely be critical and keep you on board. And the 5th secret, and this is kind of a little bit of homework for you. So if you're watching or listening, you're thinking, maybe this is for me. I call it the 50 ways. And this is, I do this regularly, and I just make a list of 50 ways, WEIGH. So it's a little bit of a play on the way, and not heavy play, but pardon my pun. But 50 ways my life would improve if I were to find my right size, release the weight, and show up in my right size body. How would my life improve, and how would it be different and better? So my challenge to you as you're listening is to make that list of 50 ways your life would be better. And that becomes a bit of a talisman and a goal when you are, especially if you're on this journey with me. I often recommend, I have clients do this in the early stages, and then they can come back to that list because that becomes their why they're doing this. And that can serve as really great motivation and a really great reminder of why they're on this path and on this journey. Because, not every day is easy. So this is just a way to kind of check back in and really confirm why you're doing what you're doing.
Those are fantastic. Thank you so much, Marietta. So we do have our 5 secrets that we have shared with us to help us on our journey. Anyone that would like to talk to Marietta, you are welcome to get a hold of her on her website. Marietta, if you could just give us the website and the phone number again, that'd be super.
It's rightsizebody.com.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yep.
It's rightsizebody.com. I'm also on Facebook, and you can find me at Right Size Body or the Right Size Body Project. That's a great way to kind of check us out and see the videos. And or you can email me, PEACE, right at rightsizebody.com, or you can contact me by phone, 519-212-0309.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marietta. We've enjoyed having you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about everyone's success. Please log in and join us, and we'll talk to you next week about different kinds of investments.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Financially Speaking Radio Show. Kathy Cook Noble will return next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.